Hello, welcome back. My friends, we have waited 4 long years for this moment. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially here, and I could not be more excited. It's been contentious up until this point. A lot of people have their opinions on how it's going to be. I know I certainly have my opinions, but I'll get into that later. For now, let's just talk about the tournament. This World Cup will be different to the previous 22 in many different ways, and the most notable being the number of teams in the tournament. Instead of there being 8 groups of 4 with the top 2 advancing to the round of 16, this tournament will see 12 groups of 4, with the top 2 in each group automatically advancing to the next round, and the next 8 best third place teams joining them. And if you're quick with math, you'll know that this means that there will be a round of 32. Yes, a round of 32, the same number of teams that have been in the tournament since 1998. This means there will be 104 games instead of 64, spread out over a month and change. Now, I have opinions about this, but I will wait to air my grievances until a little later on. Another difference in this tournament will be the hosts. Not necessarily who is hosting, but how many are hosting. Typically, one nation hosts the tournament, as you've seen in 2022 with Qatar and 2018 with Russia. This year, however, there are 3 hosts: Canada, Mexico, and the United States. This is the first time since 2002 when Korea and Japan co-hosted where there will be multiple hosts of the World Cup. Mexico and the United States haven't hosted the tournament since the turn of the century, and Canada will be hosting the tournament for the first time ever. This summer we'll also see several new rule changes, from substitutions to time wasting to VAR interventions, and yes, sadly, ad breaks. Regardless of the venue or the temperature outside, each game will feature 2 mandatory water breaks, one in the first half, one in the second half. Both of these mandatory water breaks will turn into ad breaks, essentially splitting up the game into 4 quarters instead of 2 halves. If you want some more info on all of these rules, because I barely even covered it, check out the Instagram video linked in the description below. James Lawrence Alcott does some great work for the World Cup and just soccer in general, so check out his quick little video on that. Now, let's go back to the increase in teams for just a second. I look at these groups and none of them seem appetizing. Bumping the number of teams from 32 to 48 seriously dilutes the product of the World Cup. And I'll put some numbers on it for you. In the last 3 World Cups, those being Brazil 2014, Russia 2018, and Qatar 2022, these tournaments had a combined average group ranking of 22.95 according to the FIFA rankings immediately preceding that tournament. This year, the average group ranking is 32.4, almost 10 points higher. This makes the quality of matches much poorer and means that the bigger teams have a far easier route to the final. From my calculations, from my predictions, it seems like a win and you're in. This sort of takes out all of the jeopardy involved in the group stage from years prior. On the flip side, it makes those third match days so interesting because will 2 teams make a gentleman's agreement if they both need a draw to get to the next round? Will one team just rack up the goal difference on another because, winning by 5 goals instead of 2 is the difference between being a top 8 third place team and a bottom 4 third place team? There's a lot of different ways you can look at this. All I think of when I see it, though, unfortunately, is that the best teams will just have a really easy route and the worst teams will just get pummeled at the same time. All right, enough of the housekeeping, enough of the whining. You want to hear my predictions? I want to give you my predictions, so let's get right into it. Because of the third place teams making the next round, I actually went in and predicted every single game. I did this so that I could get an accurate reading of who deserved to be in third place, because it's not always the best third place teams, it's the third place teams that got the most points, and that has a lot more to do with the other people in their group rather than the skill level that they have. I will say that Group A starts with an absolutely cracking fixture between Mexico and South Africa, and we all know what happened 16 years ago when these 2 teams kicked off a World Cup.
Taylor, what do you say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala! Goal! Bafana! Goal for South Africa! Goal for all Africa! Jabulila! Rejoice! Bafana have popped the first cork on their day of days!
Man, that goal gives me goosebumps every single time. One of the best ever World Cup goals. Unfortunately, the magic of that tournament, the magic of that moment will not find South Africa again this year. I have them finishing 4th in Group A on 0 points. And coming in at 3rd in this group is South Korea. I have them finishing with 4 points here. Now, they won't automatically qualify, but from my reading, I think 4 points is enough. to be one of the 8 best third place teams. It seems pretty safe. Honestly, I think 3 might get you in. Now, the winners of Group A for me, I think it's going to be Mexico. Mexico seem, to me at least, like the most real hosts. They have the most history. It's kind of just a stupid thing in my mind, but I feel like they will really get pushed on by the fans. All 3 of their group games will be played in Mexico. I feel like they have enough to get by and to win the group, and I think Czechia will come in second. Group B now, it's the weakest group by far, with an average ranking of 42.5. I just feel like this group is as straightforward as one can be. I feel like Switzerland have the best tools in this group. I think they're going to win it pretty handily. I've got them winning the group 9 points, winning all 3 of their games. Xhaka and Akanji as a spine is I think really solid, especially in international play. I really don't expect Canada, Bosnia and Herzegovina, or Qatar to put up much of a fight, if any fight. I do think host nation status will help out Canada. I think they'll get 4 points. It just started raining, if that's what you're probably hearing. So my apologies if that's annoying. And just as Group B was, a bit of a drag, Group C is actually quite interesting to me. It's Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland that make up this group. I think Brazil and Morocco are 2 of the best teams in the world right now. Scotland isn't anything to sniff at either. To sneeze at, sniff at, I don't know what this saying is. Whatever. They're a team you don't take lightly. Haiti, I don't think have quite enough to really actually be in the World Cup, but let alone win the group. The first game of this group is actually Brazil versus Morocco, and honestly, that's probably the most intriguing matchup to start off the group stage for any of the groups. The only 2 teams inside of FIFA's top 10 that are in the same group. I think the winner of this game, the first game of the group, will be the winner of the group, and I think that winner will be Brazil. And second, as I mentioned, it will be Morocco. I think they haven't lost a match since, I think, August 10th against Kenya, I believe. They had the AFCON final. I don't really know where that is right now. They lost the game, but technically won. Confusing. But yeah, I think that they're good enough to be second in the group. And in third, I've got Scotland. They get out of the group with 4 points. They've had some tough losses against Japan and the Ivory Coast. They beat Denmark to get into the tournament. And that game was, super, super exciting. So they're kind of hot and cold. And unfortunately for Haiti, very sad. It will be 0 points for them, 4th in the group. I'll be pulling for them. I'll hope they win, but I just don't see it in a group that good. Alrighty, Group D now. Group D has the final hosts, the United States. They also have Turkey, Australia, and Paraguay in their group as well. Unfortunately for Paraguay, I've got them finishing 4th on 0 points. I feel kind of bad just throwing 0 points at a lot of these guys, but I just think that Enciso injury is huge. At this point, he hasn't been ruled out of the entire tournament, but muscle injuries, how hot it's going to be, it's a slippery slope. So I think he's probably not going to feature, at least in the group stage, and I think that's all the football that they'll be playing. They'll be out of the group stage, finishing 4th in Group D. In third, I have Australia, who I have beating Paraguay on the final day, which could give you a chance to get into the next round. But winning the group, interestingly enough, I actually have Turkey. I think Turkey are just a little bit better than the United States. I think the quality of the U.S. team is really just not where it should be, especially for how much people talk about it. All right, Group E is next. Group E features newcomers Curacao, Ecuador, and Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast as well, and 4-time champion Germany. For me, I just really don't see a world where Germany does anything other than breeze through this group. I've got them on 9 points. I've got Ecuador coming in second with 4. I also have Ivory Coast in third with 4 points as well. So Ivory Coast has a good chance to get into the next round. And Curacao, unfortunately, again, for the bottom team in a group, will finish on 0 points. Just don't really see a way out for those guys, unfortunately. But exciting to have them in for the first time ever. All right, up next is Group F. Group F features the Netherlands, Sweden, Tunisia, and Japan. I am actually really excited for this group. I think that this could potentially be a very wide open group. I have a lot of confidence in the Dutch. Unfortunately, today just got news that Jurrien Timber won't be available, who in my opinion is top 3 right back in the world right now. So I could realistically see any of these teams finishing within 1 to 3 spots. I've got the Dutch winning the group on 9 points, Japan with 6 points, still, a great return in a group phase, and unfortunately for both Sweden and Tunisia, only having them finish on 1 point each. Japan, haven't lost a match since September, and they can always threaten. I always feel like they're a good unit at these tournaments. Sweden just about getting into this tournament. They needed to get through the playoffs. They could easily make it to the round of 16, but for right now, I just feel like Japan and the Netherlands will have too much quality for them. Okay, GG time. Group G features Belgium, Iran, Egypt, and New Zealand. Not a super great group, not one that I'm, super excited to see. I've got the lowest ranked team in the tournament finishing 4th in this group. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. I think they pick up a point against the 3rd place team in this group, which is Egypt. Outside of Marmoush and Salah, who, Salah's kind of passed it a little bit, I just really don't see enough from this Egyptian side, unfortunately. I have Iran finishing 2nd, and only just this team has to fly in and out of the U.S. for all 3 of its group games. They're going to have to deal with that, and it'll be interesting to see if they can. To fly in, then out, back to Mexico in between each game, and that's a lot, especially on game day. That's expecting a lot from this team that's probably already going to be struggling a lot with the heat, just like everybody else in the tournament. Belgium, for me, just are the winners of the group. Not quite the golden generation that they've had, especially in 2018 and in 2014 and 2022. A few of those names are still there. And I feel like they have a good enough group to go quite far in this tournament, and I think that starts with winning Group G quite comfortably. So Group H is next. Group H has the European champions Spain, along with Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cabo Verde, who are making their first appearance at the World Cup. And although it'll be very exciting for a few moments for them, I don't really think it will end well, unfortunately. I think Saudi Arabia will finish 3rd in this group, with Cabo Verde finishing 4th. I believe this Spain side is still slightly overhyped. I think they'll make it far. I definitely do, and I think this is a fairly easy group for them. But I definitely think Uruguay will push them a little bit. The only difference between these two sides, Uruguay and Spain, that is I think Spain will put more past Saudi Arabia and Cabo Verde, whereas I think Uruguay will offensively at least struggle a little bit. Either way, I think Spain needs to right a lot of wrongs from the past 3 World Cups. 2014, not getting out of the group. 2018, losing on penalties to Russia. 2022, losing on penalties to Morocco. So a lot to fix for the Spain side, but they just won the Euros, so I think they'll be, quite confident going into it, and I think that they'll get into the next round, finishing top of Group H. Group I features number 1 ranked France, Norway as well, everyone's favorite team, Senegal, my new favorite team. The French will top this group pretty easily. I think they'll get in with 7 points. Senegal for me will come second with 6 points. Norway, I think will have a solid 3 points. And I have Iraq finishing with 1 point in 4th place in the group. Senegal might be ranked a bit high in my opinion, but you really just can't deny the quality that they have in their squad. Sadio Mane, Iliman Ndiaye, Malik Diouf, Ismail Assar. I mean, there's many names in that squad that I think could really hurt some teams in the knockout rounds. But for now, I've got them coming in second in Group I. Group J is next. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably getting ready to comment, "Oh, Ben, you're so boring. Your predictions are easy. They're cookie cutter. They're basic." And while you're right, you gotta stop. Hold your horses, because now I think I've got something that will shock the world potentially, or at least you, the viewer. Group J features African side Algeria, Jordan making the tournament for their first time ever, Austria and Argentina as well, who are holders of the World Cup trophy at this moment in time. Coming in last at their first World Cup, I have Jordan. Algeria, will be 3rd on 4 points with a very real chance to move on. Yeah, and for the big shock that you've all been waiting for, I have Argentina coming in second in this group on 6 points. I have Austria finishing first with 7. There's always a big shock in every tournament. I just feel like Argentina is ranked a little bit too high. I feel like they had a lot of luck in 2022. Great side, I won't lie, but sometimes that luck runs out, and I think that Austria might be able to nick it off them in Group J. Still, Argentina is a force to be reckoned with in this tournament. They might be able to go pretty far, but right now, I feel like Austria will top Group J. Now, Group K. A bit of a boring group, I must admit. This group is made up of Portugal, Colombia, Congo, DR, and Uzbekistan. I think that's the order things go. I think Portugal topped the group with wins against the DR Congo and Uzbekistan. I feel like Colombia will come in second with 5 points. Also, a win against Uzbekistan, who will not get a single point in the tournament, in my opinion. And I've got DR Congo coming in 3rd place with 4 points. So on, their first trip to the World Cup, they've got a good chance to go on to the next round. All right, to round out the groups, we've got Group L, which is England, Panama, Ghana, and Croatia. This is an interesting group. I feel like either Croatia or England have a very real chance at topping this group. I also feel like Ghana could come in second. If England and Croatia beat themselves up a little bit early on in the group, I feel like Ghana might be able to sneak in. Also the weather, Croatia and England just not used to this, this sort of weather. Ghana, I'm sure, a little bit more used to it. I think Panama are just not good enough. I just don't see a world where they make it work. For me, I feel like Croatia's getting a bit on. Modric, Perisic, they're definitely not out of things. I think that they can make a decent run, and I think that they'll challenge this England side. I actually have them drawing the first game against England 1-1. I feel like they have a chance to top the group, but for right now, I think England's got too much strength. And I think that the pragmatism of Gareth Southgate kind of goes out the window now. Thomas Tuchel really building the squad to be a good unit rather than a list of good names. So I think that England will be a different team this time around, and I think that they'll top the group with 7 points. Alrighty, now we've got to figure out who the top 8 third place teams are, and the software has allowed me to get the order going here. So, finishing top, it is Ivory Coast from Group E. Coming in second is South Korea from Group A. Scotland third from Group C. We've got Algeria here in fourth from Group J. And the DR Congo from Group K in fifth. That'd be so awesome if DR Congo did it on their first trip. That'd be so awesome. The Black Stars of Ghana in sixth. They also have 4 points. The first 3-point qualifier is Australia. They're in Group D. And rounding out the top 8 is Norway, who is also on 3 points, and they are from Group I. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Egypt, Sweden, Saudi Arabia all miss out, unfortunately for them. Maybe next time. Hello. It is currently the next day. I'm actually in the middle of editing the video as we speak, and I'm realizing that there's just too much content to fit into one video, so I've decided to split it up into 2 separate videos. The first one being this video where I predict the group stage, and the second one where I'll predict the knockout rounds. If you're interested in watching that one, it should be linked in the description somewhere. It might show up on the screen here or in the end title card. Regardless, go ahead and go check that one out. I really hope you enjoyed watching this one. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and yeah, I'll see you over there for the knockout round predictions.